One of the biggest challenges traders face throughout the journey is this whole idea of tilt. Being emotional, making emotional decisions, being run by emotions, etc., etc. For those of you who don't know what tilt is, for example, when you take a loss or you miss a position, you go in an emotional state, your amygdala fires up, your chimp takes over, and you start making outcome-based decisions, you start making decisions that you later regret. In this particular video, I wanted to put together some ideas, 3 ideas that I've seen work in my own trading journey and the trading journeys of my clients as well. 3 highly effective ways to manage tilt, to prevent going on tilt, and also if you do go on tilt, how you can quiet that down, how you can actually manage that successfully. So we're gonna jump into those 3 things in this particular video. Now, if it's the first time checking into the channel, first and foremost, welcome. My name is Pat Bailouni. I'm the founder of Master Your Trading Mindset, which is an education and performance coaching business. And we work with retail and institutional traders all around the world, helping them overcome their psychological challenges and achieve funding or scale funding or hold on to funding, all those types of things. Now we have numerous amounts of links in the description to check out. We got our free Bulletproof Your Mindset tool. We've got our free Discord community. I've got access to my 12-week challenge below, etc., etc. So be sure to check that out. Also like, subscribe, share this video with those you think will get value from it. Now, when we talk about trading tilt, this whole idea of being on tilt is something that probably isn't spoken about as much as it should be in the trading industry. I believe tilt or emotions, just from a general perspective, have a huge impact on traders' decision making and how they perform, and ultimately how consistent and profitable that trader or that individual is going to be. It's the reason why I've really built the education business and I do the YouTube, because I think it's one of the major obstacles traders need to overcome if they want consistent profits, if they want to be profitable as traders. Now, the first thing that I'm going to talk about here when we talk about managing tilt is actually how can you prevent tilt? Maybe not how can you eliminate it completely, but how can you dampen the effects of tilt that are ultimately going to happen in your particular journey? Now, before we get into that, I want to redefine what tilt is. I don't necessarily think going on tilt or being emotional as a trader is a bad thing. I think it's very useful feedback to the individual, to the trader, to help them build self-awareness. For example, I don't think emotions are bad. I don't think traders should necessarily get rid of emotions, but I think traders need to learn how to interpret and manage their emotions. No different with tilt. I think traders need to learn how to interpret, understand what's going on when they go into tilt, and have the proper mental models and tools to be able to manage it. Now, the first thing you can implement to minimize tilt in your journey is to manage your expectations. Now, I've put the Bulletproof Your Mindset tool together to help with this particular challenge. But what I mean by managing your expectations is this. If you're watching a particular trade, say for example, Eurodollar or Bitcoin or Tesla, whatever it may be, and you have certain expectations in your mind of what you think is going to happen next in the market. You create these in the virtual market in your head and you project them onto the real market. So a Eurodollar is going to go up, or Tesla is going to go up, or Bitcoin is going to go up. And as a result of that expectation, that outcome-based expectation, I'm actually going to buy the market. So think about what you've done here. You've created this fantasy or idea in your head, and then you're buying based on that fantasy idea you have in your head, based on what you think is going to happen next. That's very different to looking at the market, observing what the market's communicating to you, and being like, all right, the market has set up these criteria, these 4 criteria that I have in my trading plan. And based on previous data, I know I have a 60% strike rate at a 2-to-1 risk to reward. I'm going to take the position because it aligns with my trading plan. That's very different thinking, right? And this is distinguishing between outcome-based thinking in the virtual market and process-based thinking in the real market. So what traders do is they create these outcome-based expectations in the virtual market in their head, they project them onto the real market, and now they have an unrealistic expectation going into that particular trade. They think, all right, Eurodollar is going to go up, I'm buying because I think Eurodollar is going to go up. And let's say, for example, they buy Eurodollar and it goes down, because their expectation had a lot of pleasure associated to it, and they wanted the pleasure, the dopamine of winning. The moment price moves in the other direction to their expectation, that's pain. Every time it ticks away from what you perceive the expectation to be, what you perceive the market was going to do through that expectation, that positive expectation, you're going to experience pain as a trader and you're going to go on tilt. So the way you can almost manage or dampen or lower the probability of actually going on tilt is to not set outcome-based expectations, but to rather be present with the market, understand what the market's communicating to you, and have the thought process of, I have no idea where this is going to go, and I don't really need to know where it's going to go, but I'm executing because if I do execute 100, if not 1,000 times, I'm going to end up profitable because I have an edge. That's the shift in expectations from an outcome-based expectation to a process-based expectation. That's the first thing I would highly suggest when it comes to managing tilt. Now, the second thing here is overlooked, but it's a very simple fix. And I don't believe traders who don't already have a good trading plan, already have a great strategy, I don't think mindset work's necessarily going to help them. Because it's like, the analogy I use here is, you've got a bucket with holes in it. If all you're trying to do is pour more water into that bucket, it's going to continue to leak. What you need to do is you need to go back first, patch up those holes, and then you can fill the bucket, right? It's no different. If you're trying to put mindset work on top of a poor strategy or poor processes, you're just going to continue to run into the same problems, and you're going to try and fix them up with mindset work. What I think traders need to do is they need to go in there and have a very clear system. They need to have a really clear strategy and a clear trading plan. This is the second thing I suggest to manage tilt. You need to have a clear trading plan that's process-based, that's outlined like a checklist, bam, 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 the 3 things you're looking for on the daily time frame, with pictures, with checklists, then you drop down to the lower time frames. 1, 2, 3, 4 criteria. Okay, I'm gonna take the trade. It needs to be systematic because that gives you something you can rely on as a checklist, as a process, as a system when you go in and trade the markets. Now, I understand that some strategies have higher levels of discretion than others, but you need to do your job as best as you can to create as best of a system as you can, because if you're chopping and changing every time you come to the trade, to the charts, and you're sometimes trading a little bit different to other times, you don't have an edge. You're not executing on an edge, you're executing based on how you feel that particular day. So this is where a process-based system that's clearly outlined in a trading plan does wonders. And the way this helps mitigate tilt is because you now give yourself over to the system. You give yourself permission to just execute this system hundreds, if not thousands of times. And it's almost like, you know what? I don't need to be profitable in this particular trade because I trust the system over a long period of time is going to yield me that result. So that really helps with tilt. What I've seen in my journey and work with clients now as well, that's helped significantly. And the third thing that's helped significantly with managing and mitigating tilt is having a balanced income system and a balanced lifestyle. And what I mean by this is, if trading is your only source of income and you're risking too much and you're reliant on a paycheck from your trading and you don't have anything else, you don't socialize, you don't work out, you don't develop yourself or have relationships, all you do is trade, then you're very concentrated on that trade being a winner, and you've got very tight focus on trading has to work out and it has to be profitable, and that's my only thing. You have to understand that if you win, you're going to be more elated. If you lose, you're going to be more depressed, because the more concentrated you are in a particular value system, the more emotional you're going to be. Whereas if you have more diversification and a more holistic lifestyle, and trading is only one source of income, but you've also got a 9-to-5 income, you've got business income, you've got other projects you work on, you've got relationships, you've got friends, you've got a social life, you've got health, fitness, etc., etc., you can see that having those other things that are important to you as well almost dampen the volatility you're going to go through in your trading. So I think it's incredibly important to have a structured lifestyle, to first and foremost know exactly what you're doing with your trading, have that system. And that way you can have 3 high priority actions for trading that day. Maybe it's checking the charts, executing when your alerts go off, maybe doing some sort of review. So your trading is very system based, very low maintenance. And then you give yourself permission to go off and empower the other areas of life. And I think when you do that, when you're more holistic, the volatilities in your trading lower, because you're not so reliant on that having to, that one trade having to be profitable. You're not relying on that for food, because if you were, it's very emotional. But you've got other incomes coming in, you've got cash cushions, you've got cash savings, you've got other things to your life. So diversify your income streams, diversify your life. That helps immensely with tilt as well. Now, the one little bonus idea here is the tilt comes from the subconsciously stored positive and negative associations that we have to winning and losing. I talk about this immensely in my other videos, in my 12-week challenge, in my lectures on the subconscious mind. Now, you have to go and address these things, because if an experience in the present moment reminds you of something that happened 5 years ago that was very painful, all that stuff is going to be coming back to surface, and it's going to trigger you. The biochemistry, the autonomic systems are going to be firing, and you're gonna have that visceral response, that emotional response. So we have to go in there and address that subconsciously stored data. Going in and doing that is far too extensive for this particular YouTube channel. I cover it in detail in the 12-week challenge. So my suggestion is, if you resonate with this, first and foremost, check out the free Bulletproof Your Mindset tool, and then check out the 12-week challenge. That covers all my mindset principle tools in great detail. It gives you the tools, it gives you the accountability to ensure you actually follow through and get true brain change and start thinking like a consistently profitable trader. And hopefully this was insightful, gave you some insights, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video.